So whenever you're delving into any new project, be it woodwork or surfing or learning how to work with horses, you want to have an idea of the finished product before you delve into the nitty gritty and the dirty details. And so Abigail here is a fairly well-trained horse. She's about 12 years old and she's had some good training on her. So she can go through these first four fundamentals really well. And she can show you an accurate representation of what they should look like. She may not provide us with any problems or anything we really need to work through, but she is going to give you a great idea of the finished product and what you are eventually going to shoot for. This also can serve to show you how the first four fundamentals, when you use them with a young horse, they can be an entire training session all in themselves, or a training routine. As your horse gets more experienced and gets a better handle on things in life, then it can start to be a warm-up or even just a tune-up type ride. So with that being said, fundamental number one, lateral flexion or bending the neck, lateral flexion or bending the neck. That's where you slide down, say, one rein, and your horse bends and gives that neck and leaves their feet nice and still. Good. And then when you release, you can give them a nice rub or just let them know somehow that they're doing the right thing. Check the right side, slide down this rein, and she leaves her feet still. If she were to move her feet at all or be stiff, we just keep asking, stay passively persistent until she bends her neck and takes a look at us, and leaves her feet still and takes a look at us. So fundamental number two. Oh, right here, she decided to move her feet. So we just sit there until she gets soft. Step number two, though, is a disengage or moving the hind. So this is where you want to take this inside hind foot and ask it to step forward and underneath her center of gravity and basically ask her for a turn on the forehand. So let's see if we can do that. Slide my right leg back and she steps that right hind over. Step three is a bend to a stop. So that's where you take your leg off and you just wait for your horse to get soft and round again. So let's try it on this side. Slide down the rein, slide my leg back, take my leg off, and she comes to a standstill. Let me push her hips over and then leg off. And you see how she kind of just eases back in there. That's what you're looking for. If your horse can do that and then resume standing still, then you can move on to step four already. And that is forward motion. So first it's walking on a loose rein, then it's trotting, and then it's cantering. Let's go into the walk. So in order to ask your horse to walk, after a while you can just sort of think where you want to go and your horse will step off that way. Right here, she's kind of thinking about the grass a little bit, smelling the roses. She's not really walking with any purpose, but she's not feeling like she's going to stop either. So if she's doing the right thing, you want to make that nice and easy. You just stay real quiet until even through there, you wait for your horse to make a mistake. So if she were to stop her feet or break to the trot, I'd do something about it. But right now, so right here, she's going to stop her feet. So I'll just squeeze with my legs and ask her to keep walking. You notice I didn't steer at all down here. I just asked her to go forward and she had to find her way out of that little bind. And if your horse was kind of antsy or feeling like they wanted to trot off, this would be a good exercise to work on for a little while, you know. Just anytime they go faster than you'd like, you slide down one rein and bend to a stop. So maybe she's going to get bunched up here a little bit. The other thing the first four fundamentals exercise does, in addition to getting your horse soft in the neck and responsive to your leg, is it actually is a cure for barn sourness. if you take the principles of making the wrong thing hard and the right thing easy. So if she were to be magnetized or be drawn to any particular area in this arena, we'd just make that a little more difficult. How would we make it difficult? Well, we could move her feet faster, we could ask her into a trot, or we could ask her to disengage in the spot that she really wanted to be, meaning she'd turn circles on her front end until she felt like she wanted to move away from that area. Or you can simply just ride with a little bit more intention when she gets, so right over here is she wants to stop again. This seems to be the spot she's magnetized to. And she's pretty easy to keep in the walk, and I'm pretty sure she's in control at the walk. So we'll wait for her she tries to stop. I'll put my legs on. There we go. You see, I didn't steer at all. I just squeezed with my legs. Good. So then, as a safety precaution, you always want to check after your horse walks. Can you slide down a rein and have them bend to a stop? Remember, that's fundamental number 3. Since we know she can bend to a stop, let's see if we can trot her out. So this kind of a scenario is not one you find in every arena, but she got herself behind these barrels here. If you had this arena for yourself, you might want to move some stuff to block any danger zones. So I just put a cone there so she wouldn't try that again, and we'll go off and check our trot. So that's a horsemanship lesson all in itself there. The principle of this exercise is you wouldn't let her stop her feet where she wanted to be. But sometimes you have to sacrifice your principles a little bit in the name of safety. So if you find yourself getting into a real bind or something like that, even though you're not supposed to steer or even though you're not supposed to back up, make sure you keep yourself safe first and foremost. So now once we started trotting, you see a difference in where she wants to be. Before, she was pretty comfortable just following the arena fence. Now she's really interested in sticking by. Right here she broke from the trot, so I just asked her to trot back up. So she seems really interested in sticking by the roping chute over there and this fence on the arena, this long side. That's mainly because that direction's home for her. So you could do this posting or in a sitting trot. She's smooth enough, even though I'm not making it sound like it, she's smooth enough that you can kind of sit and be comfortable. But if she was trotting faster than this, I'd probably be posting. So here again, we're making the wrong thing hard and the right thing easy. And we're allowing our horse to gain rhythm, relaxation, and impulsion in all the gaits. So relaxation and rhythm, pretty self-explanatory. Impulsion is the horse being comfortable in their own skin. Meaning if you ask them for a trot, they just trot. They don't want to canter, they don't want to walk. If you ask them to stop, they just stand there. They're not looking to jump out of their skin or back up or get antsy. So right here, she's pretty relaxed, she's pretty rhythmic, and she's getting more impulsive. But she still sees this this fence line here as the safe place to be. So what we wouldn't want to do is rest her where she wants to be, right? Like we did earlier. I think we may have fueled this a little bit. Instead, we want to rest her where we want to be, which is where she hasn't gone too often. Maybe out over there, closer to you guys and the camera. So you let your horse dictate the pace of this exercise. If they're letting you know they need to work along here for a little while, you just go with them. Wait for them to make the decision to do something different. See, now she's less inclined. There we go. She thought about it, but she's less inclined to want to go towards those cow pens again, towards that roping chute. She's starting to get rounder. Right about here, she did something different. So I'll let her. She was telling me she wanted to stop. So I let her break to the walk there, but then we go back and we check our bend to a stop, check our disengage, make sure the fundamentals 1, 2, and 3 are all in line. There you go. And you see, the more you do this, the more relaxed your horse is going to get. There's an old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Well, you'd sure be smart if you caused him to be thirsty before you made the bet. So there, she was doing a lot of trotting. And right there when she was starting to break to the walk, she was telling me she was pretty thirsty for the stop. So we said, yeah, we'll take that under advisement. And this is a pretty good place to stop. It's away from home, it's away from the gate, and we can just hang out for a sec. So you check that your horse is in control at the standstill, meaning you can stand here nice and without holding them in place. You can also bend their neck and they'll leave their feet still. We know we can disengage and bend to a stop. We know we can trot on a loose rein. So if your horse is letting you know all these good things, then maybe pick a savvy spot to decide to canter. Maybe where we rested is a good spot to walk away from. And see, I didn't steer her at all. I just asked her to walk. And sure enough, where did she take us? Back to her favorite spot in the world, the arena fence here, the far fence. So once we get here, we'll ask for a trot. There, she was a little resistant to want to trot. And then she brings us back here again to where she wants to be. So it'd be a good spot to pick up the canter. Good. The higher the speed is, so right here she broke down, we'll say go ahead and canter. The higher the speed is, you'll find sometimes the faster the turns happen, especially when there's stuff on the ground. Right here, I'm not steering at all. All I'm doing is putting a little float in the reins so that way it doesn't flop all over the place. And you see she's kind of trying to find that spot. Where were we resting again? Oh, maybe it was over here. And if you're over here, you go, oh, you're not cantering. There you go. And you'll see they'll start to seek. She'll try new things. Sometimes, there you go. It's best to do this exercise if you're not too confident in a round pen, but after a while, this is a great exercise to do in the arena. So then you pick a spot that you want maybe your horse to rest in, and then you just slide your hand on out down the rein and bend to a stop. And you see how she did that? It was a progressive stop. She went from the canter to the trot, got round, went to the walk, and then stopped her feet and began pivoting. That's what you're looking for. You don't want your horse to just hit the brakes and then start spinning on their front end. You want that forward energy to come up smoothly and then come back down smoothly again. Good girl. So then after they moved out like that, she's not in the best shape in the world. You kind of pay attention to, you know, she's had some time off. We're just bringing her back from the muddy winter out here. And so she's getting back in shape. She's had a couple rides. One of them we tried to film the first 4 fundamentals on, and really what happened was the audio didn't turn out for that. So we decided to come back out and try it again. She's had maybe 4 or 5 more rides since then, getting her back in shape. So anyway, the reason I'm sitting here telling you this stuff is it gives her a chance to catch her air again, catch her breath up, and then we can see if we can canter on the loose rein in the other direction. We kind of cantered both directions there, I suppose, but you know, you just want to go back and check, make sure. You always want to do things twice, and it's better even if you do it 3 times to make sure you got the idea down. So we walk off from the place we rested. We let her choose where she wants to win and where she wants to start the work. So she says, all right, I'm ready to start some more work. Walk over here to the arena gate. And she makes her turn again. So when she gets about 10 feet away from the fence, we'll ask for the canter. Wait for your horse to make a mistake. Right there, she broke to the trot. She was feeling like she wanted to trot before. But you want to wait for your horse to make the full mistake, because they understand a change of gait a lot better than a change of speed. So right there, she breaks to the trot. I remind her, hey, it's time to canter. And then just sit right between your horse's ears and let them go where they're gonna. See, she's kind of trying to figure out exactly where to go. Where she thought was safe, a good safe haven, doesn't seem to be so. But she's starting to seek out the last place she got to rest. We'll say, oh, do you really want to be there? In this case, maybe we'll help her out by tipping her nose this way, and then drop the reins again and look for your canter. There it is. So maybe a new place. She's rested a couple times down there. Now you hear her letting her breath out a little bit, and she's getting more rhythm and cadence in this canter too. More apt to stay in it. Good. So now she's starting to fill out the whole arena on her own. I haven't asked her once to stay near the fence, but she's starting to get these shapes around her and pay a little more attention to where she's headed, aside from that mounting block. So here, that was a new line. She's saying, I'd really like to work on the right lead now. Okay. She brings us down this fence here, and maybe right out in here would be a good spot for a rest. So you slide down your rein, Bring your hand out wide. Wait for that energy to come down, and then draw your hand behind your knee. Good. That's our forward motion, then our bend to a stop. She disengaged a little bit naturally, and then she flexed laterally. So that's kind of the idea. You want to work your way up, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back down this exercise. 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's bend the neck, move the hip, bend to a stop, then move off. Then you got your forward motion to a bend to a stop, disengage, flex the neck. And there you go. There's your first 4 fundamentals. Hopefully it couldn't be, hopefully it's as simple as that. She's done really well today. Normally she's a little bit flighty and feisty, but as you can see, just working with these fundamental exercises here a little bit, and it gets your horse calm, cool, not collected, calm, cool, relaxed, rhythmic, impulsive, soft, subtle, and supple. How about that? And safe, of course. So there you go. First 4 fundamentals.